Wale wanaoishi kwa hema takatifu ya Mungu wamewekwa imara kwenye viti vya utukufu kwa milele na milele. Wale wanaoishi kwa hema takatifu ya Mungu wamewekwa imara kwenye viti vya utukufu wa milele na milele. Watakata ulimi mwema ni sumaku ya mioyo, ni mkate wa Roho unaovisha maneno kwa maana, ni chemichemi ya mwangaza wa hekima. Ulimi mwema ni sumaku ya mioyo, ni mkate wa Roho unaovisha maneno kwa maana, ni chemichemi ya mwangaza wa hekima. Watakata kunyosha mikono yao, kunyang'anya kinyume cha sheria mali ya jirani yao, japokuwa weni. Kunyosha mikono yao, kunyang'anya kinyume cha sheria mali ya jirani yao, japokuwa weni. Watakata enyi wapendwa wa Bwana, kipindi kitakatifu cha maongozi ya Mungu, ugomvi na kushindana kwa vyovyote vile haviruhusiwi. Watakata
Praised be thou, O Lord my God. Every time I attempt to make mention of thee, I am hindered by the sublimity of thy station and the overpowering greatness of thy might. For were I to praise thee throughout the length of thy dominion and the duration of thy sovereignty, I would find that my praise of thee can befit only such as are unto me, who are themselves thy creatures, and who have been generated through the power of thy decree, and been fashioned through the potency of thy will. And at whatever time my pen ascribeth glory to any one of thy names, methinks I can hear the voice of its lamentation in its remoteness from thee, and can recognize its cry because of its separation from thyself. I testify that everything other than thee is but thy creation, and is held in the hollow of thy hand. To have accepted any act or praise from thy creatures is but an evidence of the wonders of thy grace, and bountiful favors, and manifestation of thy generosity and providence. I entreat thee, O my Lord, by thy most great name, whereby thou didst separate light from fire, and truth from denial, to send down upon me and upon such of my loved ones as are in my company the good of this world and of the next. Supply us then with thy wondrous gifts that are hid from the eyes of men. Thou art verily the fashioner of creation. No God is there but thee, the Almighty, the All-Glorious, the Most High.
Many a chilled heart, O my God, had been set ablaze by the fire of thy course, and many a slumber had been weakened by the sweetness of thy voice. How many are the strangers who have sought shelter beneath the shadow of the tree of thy oneness, and how numerous the thirsty of ones have panted after the fountain of thy living waters in thy days. Blessed is he that hath set himself towards thee, and hasted to attain the springs of the light of thy face. Blessed is he who with all his affections hath turned to the dawn place of thy revelation and the fountain of thy inspiration. Blessed is he that had expended in thy path, which thou didst bestow him through thy bounties and favor. Blessed is who in his soul, longing after thee, had been cast away all else except thyself. Blessed is who his joy imitated communion with thee, and rid himself of attached to anyone save thee. Beseech thee, O my Lord, by him who is thy name, who through the power of thy sovereignty and mighty hath risen above the horizon of his prison, to obtain for everyone what becometh thee and beseemeth thine exaltation. Thy mighty, in truth, is equal to all things.
Lisifiwe jina lako, e Bwana Mungu wangu. Mimi ni mtumishi wako ambaye ameshikilia ugu wa rehema zako za upendo na kung'ang'ania kwenye pindo la ukarimu wako. Na kusiwe kwa jina lako ambalo kwalo umevitiisha viumbe vyote, vionekanavyo na visivyoonekana, na kwalo pumzi ambayo ni uzima wa kweli ulipeperushwa juu ya muumbo mzima, kuniimarisha kwa nguvu yako ambayo imezunguka mbingu na nchi, na kunilinda kutokana na maradhi yote na majonzi. Nashuhudia kwamba wewe u Bwana wa majina yote na muamuru wa yote yale yanaweza kukupendeza wewe. Hakuna Mungu mwingine ila wewe, mweza vyote, ajuaye yote, mwenye hekima kabisa. Amuru kwa ajili yangu, Bwana wangu, kile kitakachoninufaisha katika ulimwengu huu, katika ulimwengu wa malimwengu yako. Nipe basi yale ambayo wewe umeyaandika kwa ajili ya wateule kati ya viumbe wako, ambao hakuna shutuma za mshutumu wala makelele ya kafiri wala kujitenga kwa wale waliojiondoa kutoka kwako vimewazuia kukuelekea wewe. Wewe kwa kweli umsaada katika mashaka kwa nguvu za enzi yako. Hakuna Mungu aliyepo ila wewe, mweza yote, mwenye nguvu kuliko wote.
አንዱና እውነተኛው አምላክ ከፀሐይዋ ጋር አማኙ ደግሞ ከፊት መስታወት ጋር ሊመሳሰሉ ይችላሉ። መስታወቱ ከፀሐይዋ ፊት እንደተደረገ ወዲያው ብርሃኗን ያንጸባርቃል። የማያምነው በድንጋይ ሊመሰል ይችላል። ለፈለገው ያህል ጊዜ ለፀሐይዋ ብርሃን ቢጋለጥ ፀሐይዋን ሊያንጸባርቅ አይችልም። ስለዚህ ፊተኛው ሕይወቱን እንደ መስዋዕት ይሰጣል፣ ኋለኛው ደግሞ በአምላክ ላይ የሚፈጽመውን ይፈጽማል። በእውነቱ አምላክ ቢፈልግ ድንጋዩን ወደ መስታወት የመለወጥ ኃይል አለው። ነገር ግን ግለሰቡ ራሱ በራሱ ሁኔታ እንደተስማማ ይቀጥላል። እርሱ መስታወት ለመሆን ቢፈልግ ኖሮ አምላክ የመስታወት ቅርጽ እንዲይዝ ባደረገው ነበር። በዚያ ቀን አማኙን በእርሱ እንዲያምን የሚያነሳሳው ማንኛውም ምክንያት ይኸው ደግሞ ለማያምነው ክፍት ነው። ነገር ግን የኋለኛው ራሱን በመሸፈኛ እንዲጠቀለል ሲያደርግ ያው ምክንያት በግርዶሽ እንደተጋረደ ሰው ይጋርደዋል። ስለዚህ ዛሬ በግልጽ እንደሚታወቀው እነዚያ ወደ አምላክ ወደ እውነተኛው ፊታቸውን የመለሱት በባያን ምክንያት ሲያምኑት፣ እነዚያ የተጋረዱት ደግሞ በዚያው ምክንያት ተነፈጉ።
He is the one who speaketh through the power of truth in the kingdom of utterance. O ye embodiments of justice and equity, and the manifestations of uprightness and of heavenly bounties. In tears and lamenting, this wronged one calleth aloud and saith, O God, my God, adorn the heads of thy loved ones with a crown of detachment, and attire their temples with the raiment of righteousness. It behooveth the people of Baha to render the Lord victorious through the power of their utterance, and to admonish the people by their goodly deeds and character, inasmuch as deeds exert greater influence than words. Say, honesty, virtue, wisdom, and saintly character redound to exaltation of man, while dishonesty, imposture, ignorance, and hypocrisy lead to his abasement. By my life, man's distinction lieth not in the ornaments of wealth, but rather in virtuous behavior and true understanding. God grant thou mayest be graciously aided under all conditions to shatter the idols of superstition and to tear away the veils of imagination of men. Authority lieth in grasp of God, the fountainhead of revelation and inspiration, and the Lord of day of resurrection. Saying, O God, my God, thou beholdest me circling round thy will, with mine eyes turned towards the horizon of thy bounty, eagerly awaiting the revelation of effulgent splendors of the sun of thy favors. I beg of thee, O beloved of every understanding heart, and the desire of such as have near access unto thee, to grant that thy loved ones may become wholly detached from their own inclinations, holding fast unto that which pleaseth thee, Attire them, O Lord, with the robe of righteousness and illumine them with the splendors of the light of detachment. Summon them to their assistance, the hosts of wisdom and utterance, that they may exalt thy word amongst thy creatures and proclaim thy cause amidst thy servants. Verily, potent art thou to do what thou willest, and within thy grasp lies the reins of all affairs. No God is there but thee, the mighty, the ever forgiving.
is here with us. Time is going very fast. And I'm sure we are all absorbing as much as we could so that when we go back to our respective communities, we can also try our level best to squeeze ourselves and share all the insights that we are gaining and the experiences from this very meeting. Dear friends, it's difficult to capture the richness of the conversations we had yesterday. But if you allow me, I'll highlight a few key points from the yesterday's discussion. Yesterday, we were able to reflect on how the capacity to raise human resources is being developed and strengthened in more communities. In particular, we had many helpful examples on how this is done in many communities across the different countries and different friends who shared yesterday. You also shared how attention is being given to capacity to offer more content with greater effectiveness. A lot of experiences we also had about classes for children in all grades have been introduced in a number of villages and neighborhoods. A number of texts for junior youth program has been increased. The number of junior youth who are studying, we saw how in more and more communities we've been able to offer all the available junior youth text. We also had the participation in both programs is sustained year on year, all which gives this undertaking a higher degree of formality. Beautiful examples were shared illustrating the valuable lessons many communities learned over the years. That working with the youth and young mothers, most of whom are youth themselves, lend tremendous impetus to the process of human resource development. I think the comments that were given by dear Navid and Sina around working with the youth were very helpful. That our investment in the young people, however, is not merely about multiplying activities, but about recognizing them as the very foundation of society we are striving to build. So seeing these young people as protagonists, but not just, we are using them to multiply these activities. So dear friends, this plenary session, we will explore the administrative arrangements of the Training Institute through the lens of paragraph 11 and 12 of the 31st December message. It's helpful to think of the Institute from two perspectives. First, as a process that belongs to the community and which they themselves are helping to develop and formalize. Second, as a structure that is evolving into educational organization, operating with a necessary degree of systematization across a region or a country. Seeing the Institute as a process that unfolds in the life of the community, for which friends and local institutions bear a shared responsibility as they cultivate a strong sense of collective ownership of the educational activities, they are able to respond in creative and effective ways to the needs and challenges that arise. The mobilization of some of the needed resources then occurs as a natural aspect of an increasingly rich pattern of community life. And I think this example is demonstrated in the most advanced communities, villages, and clusters, you begin to see this. In paragraph 11 of the 31st December message, the Universal House of Justice helps us to see that the process of learning of the Institute as an entity, including its administrative arrangements, has a clear objective, a direction. The accelerated spread of the individual's programs, the accelerated spread of the Institute's programs delivered with a requisite quality. The House of Justice helps us to see that the process of learning of the Institute as an entity, including its administrative arrangements, has a clear objective. The administrative arrangements that support the work of the Training Institute are evolving in a way that nurtures a process of learning about the accelerated spread of the Institute's programs delivered with requisite quality. The learning process described here involves the community at the grassroots, who see the Institute as a powerful instrument that is theirs, and the administrative arrangements that supports the efforts of the community. In general sense, it all begins at the grassroots, so seeing it as bottom-up, the process beginning at the level of the grassroots. We are assisted to visualize the nature of the interaction and relationship, both formal and informal, at the level of the Training Institute. In this paragraph 11, the House of Justice helps us to see how teachers, animators, and tutors are helped to maintain an ongoing conversation, reflect together in groups, and support each other in action, which it seems to me reinforces a culture of mutual support and assistance. And when you think about this kind of arrangement, I think of it as informal, the teachers, animators, and tutors. How beyond the support of the friends how beyond the support of these friends lend to each other, there are coordinators and collaborators who effectively accompany them as well. So this is formal, There are collaborators and coordinators in this paragraph. We saw the House of Justice assisting us to understand this. The House of Justice in this very paragraph describes a robust capacity building process to ensure the Institute's scheme of coordination is being put in place on a sound foundation in more clusters. How coordinators are raised up in each cluster and help to develop their capacity over time, a responsibility given to the regional or national coordinators. How the endeavors of regional and national coordinators are reinforced by teams for each educational program. In the last 4 years, these teams, the House of Justice states this, in the last 4 years, these teams have done much to assist the regional and national coordinators to organize seminars that explore content of a program in depth, enabling the Institute's materials to be delivered to large numbers with ever greater creativity, flexibility, and agility, but without compromising programs' essential components. In the 29th December message, the House of Justice stated this: of course, it is not the provision of the training itself that brings about progress. Efforts to build capacity fall short if arrangements are not swiftly made to accompany individuals into the arena of service. An adequate level of support extends far beyond encouraging words. When preparing to take on unfamiliar task, working alongside a person with some experience increases consciousness of what is possible. An assurance of practical help can give tentative venture the courage to initiate an activity. The courage to initiate an activity for the first time. This particular paragraph from the 29th December, it seems to me helps us to see the importance of coordinators and collaborators effectively accompanying tutors, animators, and teachers. And I think if we remember well, in the Rizvan Message 2010, in the beginning paragraphs, the House of Justice says that as men and women, if I just paraphrase, advances through the sequence of courses, others must stand ready to support them according to their strength and their capacity. So if others are not ready to accompany them according to their strength and capacity, then we may not be able to assist many or scores to walk this path of service. Regional or programmatic teams for children's classes, junior youth groups, or study cycles were first mentioned in the 30th December 2021 message of the Universal House of Justice. In places, separate teams have also begun to focus respectively on children's classes, junior youth groups, and study cycles, identifying factors that contribute to their effectiveness and finding ways to assist friends involved in each avenue of service to further raise their own capacity. The capacity of the Training Institute as an entity depends on many, many people, from groups of families to the tutors, animators, teachers, to collaborators and coordinators, to teams at the regional level or at the national levels. All of these and others who support the work of the Training Institute, such as auxiliary board members, are generating insights and experience that must be collected, analyzed, and shared as indicated in paragraph 12 of the 31st December message. In the last few years, a lot has been learned about collaborative groups. How the periodic deliberations of this group help enhance the Institute's capacity to learn, to gather and apply insights emerging from the grassroots regarding the promotion of children's classes, junior youth groups, and study cycles. The 31st December message 2025 tells us that the gatherings of consultation of the collaborative group help to strengthen the Institute's connections with other institutions and agencies, ensuring that its learning process unfolds within the broader context of learning about the overall process of growth. It seems to me basically connecting to the broader ecosystem. Yesterday we were talking about this ecosystem. So these spaces for the collaborative groups, when all the entities and institutions are connected there, then you are able to see the whole picture. You don't see it narrowly. With regard to the Institute Board, the House of Justice tells us that it is fostering the strength of all other aspects of the Institute, including administrative capacity, so that it can sustain progressively more complex system of spiritual education. The House of Justice in that very paragraph also comments on the network of training institutes. It says it helps to enable the lessons that are being learned by the most experienced institutes to be shared more widely, an important strategy for institutes to advance rapidly. Dear friends, with these remarks, with these comments, we would be very happy if you can share examples of the following. How tutors, animators, and teachers are working in teams and are being assisted to engage in collective learning process. How collaborators are being raised up to help coordinators accompany the friends in acts of service. How coordinators are being raised up in each cluster and are being helped to grow in capacity, especially by regional and national coordinators. How formal seminars are being used to help friends supporting the work of the Institute, especially coordinators, enhance their capacity to deliver educational content and to grow in confidence and effectiveness. Where there is experience, the role of teams focusing on children's classes, junior youth groups, and study cycles can be shared as well. How networks of training institutes are helping regions at various points of development to gain in capacity and to advance. So kindly, you are invited to participate in this conversation, and it will be very nice if we are able to raise our hands so that we can hear the experiences from different places. So friends, you are welcome to raise our hands. So we will begin with Davis. We have Davis on our list. There is Betty, and then there is Rachel. Davis, if we can pass the mic to Davis wherever he is.
Yes. Hello, dear friends. It's a fine morning, and I would love to share an experience from Southwest region, which has a medium capacity training institute. As a region, we are learning to strengthen the process of human resource development. And in this context, I will share our experience in the efforts to achieve this in two perspectives. One, how we are raising coordinators in each cluster and help them grow their capacity. And two, how we are benefiting from the networks of training institutes while exerting efforts to advance our capacity. So to begin with, how we are raising coordinators and help them grow their capacities. I will first of all like to share to say that currently we have 10 cluster institute coordinators who have been helped to grow their capacities gradually by the help of the coordinators serving at the regional level. So while these efforts are being exerted to establish or to raise coordination system at cluster level, we have been drawing from our experience where the regional coordinators, when coming up with this coordinational structure at cluster level, they have been strategically engaging key individuals in the community who have studied Book 3, Grade 1, and Book 5, and Book 7, and are already serving as teachers, animators, or tutors, respectively. Then the regional coordinators invite them for a review of Book 2 to enrich their capacity to converse about the respective educational imperatives. They then go with them in the field to converse with the parents and the youths about these programs and invite them for the youth gatherings and trainings, respectively. After training, they together assist the newly trained animators to converse with the junior youths and then initiate activities, and thereafter paying them regular visits while conducting those activities. So they work alongside them and in the process of their capacity development. Then these regional institute coordinators, together with those key individuals, later on invite the trained human resources for regular reflection spaces with well-structured content to help grow further their capacities. As time goes by, these key individuals are gradually identified as cluster institute coordinators, even as we endeavor to advance further their capacities in accompanying others. As a region, we are focused in helping them progress through the institute courses so as to strengthen more their path of service in accompanying others. Then I will also share on how, as a region, we are benefiting from the networks of training institute. In this case, our sister region, that is Central West region, through the resource person who regularly visits our institute board and the regional institute coordinators meetings, offers valuable insights during these meetings. And some of the insights we have benefited from these visits is including the establishment of the basic structures of coordination in all the second milestone clusters across the region, while offering suggestions on how this can be approached. Because we realize that when coordination is strengthened, then human resource development can be sustained, and we see it developing and advancing gradually. The resource person has also helped us to see how we can strengthen coordination at regional level. And this is, we are really striving as a region to see that coordination at regional level is well strengthened so that the human resources can gradually be developed and sustainability of activities can also be enhanced. We've also benefited from insights such as how we can effectively raise the capacities of animators through the study of branch courses, and are helping us to plan effectively on how this can be approached and later on implemented. Also, how we can strengthen our collaborative spaces, having that these are spaces where a lot of insights and learnings are generated, and then also to disseminate these learnings becomes more reliable and sustainable. So we are striving to strengthen this. And finally, how we can establish strategic teams following each educational imperative. So the sister region has also been inviting regional institute coordinators to attend seminars that has helped them enrich their capacities to accompany others in the field of service. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Davis. Thank you. So the next is Betty, and then we've got Rachel, and then after Rachel we have Nancy.
Hello, Papa friends. In response to the last question, I'm Beatrice from Central Kenya. So since READ-1 2022, Central Region has made steady progress in strengthening both the administrative arrangement that support the work of the Training Institute, drawing variable lessons from the experience of Northwest Region as an advanced institute through the support of the resource person. At READ-1 2022, the Regional Institute Board comprised 3 members. Through ongoing learnings, reflection, and in response to the growing demand of the institute process, the board has expanded to 5 members. This development reflects the regional increased capacity to accompany the 3 educational imperatives with greater effectiveness and coherence. With the support of the collaborative group, the work of the Institute has continued to advance, particularly with regards to the 3 educational imperatives. Consultation spaces have been organized on a cyclic basis, bringing together the Institute board, auxiliary board members, regional coordinators, resource person, and experienced key individual. This collaborative group has become an important space for consultation, reflection, and collective learning on how best to respond to emerging needs related to institute process. Through this pattern of collaboration, Central Region is learning how administrative capacity, spiritual vision, and practical accompaniment must go hand in hand for the institute to fulfill its purpose. At the cluster level, we are working with 9 cluster institute coordinator who serves alongside tutors, children class teacher, and junior youth and animators, ensuring that the institute process remain closely connected to the grassroots of community life. This growing coherence between regional and cluster structure is enabling a more unified vision in accompanying those engaged in the field of service. At the regional level, the Institute Board works closely with the regional coordinator who help to carry the vision of the board to the clusters. In this role, the regional coordinator collaborates and consult with auxiliary board members, local spiritual assemblies, and area teaching committee. Also coordinators, where these are in place, further strengthening coordination and shared purpose. So a significant source of learning has come from the experience of Northwest Region in organizing well-structured children's seminars. These seminars demonstrate how systematic attention to the children education imperative can raise capacity among teachers and act as a portal for growth. In these spaces, teams following children education at the regional level are assisted to study and complete branch courses, of which at the moment we have 4 children classes in branch course 1. Further learning from Northwest, has been evident in establishment of a regular rhythm of junior youth camps and in strengthening the capacity of animator to engage confidently with junior youth text. This was particularly supported through the jointly organized intensive study of the initial impulse, the first branch course of Ruhi Book 5, which took place in Nakuru, Bahai Center. Northwest region has also supported Central region in deepening the study culture among those serving the institute process. This has included guidance in study, higher courses such as Book 10 and Ruhi Book 11. The presence of experienced tutors from Northwest who directly facilitated these courses not only built mastery of content but also modeled effective tutoring approaches. As a result, tutor, animator, and coordinator in Central Region are gaining greater confidence in facilitating text, accompanying others in study and linking training more closely with action in the field. Overall, the learning drawn from Northwest region extend beyond specific activity to a deeper understanding of how an institute grow in effectiveness through sustained learning, consultation and accompaniment, by strengthening collaboration between the institute board, coordinator, and those serving in the field, and by applying insights gained from an advanced region, the institute process in Central region is gradually gaining in coherence, depth, and effectiveness in advancing the three educational imperative and contributing to society building power of the faith. Never greater mission.
Thank you. Thank you so much, dear Betty. Dear Betty, before you sit, just a small one, because the experience you've shared is really beautiful. Is it possible if you just say in a few seconds about how then these coordinators are raised? What is your experience in Central region?
So, in that response, through the Northwest, we have resource person who we are working closely. So the way we raise our coordinator is from the pool of the experience individual who are serving either as animator, tutors, or teachers. So from that pool, we usually see the one who at the forefront, that teacher, and by that, the regional institute coordinator usually share the names with the institute board, and later they deliberate, looking at the analysis of that individual, and later they usually call for orientation of these friends. Then the regional institute coordinator, he or she is in the first front line, to accompany this individual to understand their role after orientation.
No, really, thank you so much, Betty. That's quite rich, yeah. Because Betty has assisted us to see how that connection between the advanced region and an emerging region, and how a resource person is able to support, but also how the coordinators are being raised in a more organic way. I think through seminars, through study, branch courses, she has described it so well. So the next person we are going to take is Rachel, and then Nancy. And then after Nancy, we have got Petra. You've got Petra. I think it's the namesake of Councillor Nancy. She thought she's the one. So, yeah. Is Rachel, kindly, if we can take the mic to Rachel. She's somewhere down there.
I would like to share our experience about how we identify cluster coordinators. Northern region is divided into 4 sub-regions with a total of 91 clusters. Currently, the Institute is actively working with 22 clusters. There are 23 clusters coordinators serving in 10 clusters who supported by 3 regional coordinators. How we identify cluster coordinators? Individuals are supported to start the Institute book from book 1 to book 7. Afterward, they are accompanied to initiate education and community-based activities. From among those running activities, individuals who show the ability to support others and interest for expanding activities are identified. They are gradually given small responsibility in an informal way, such as organizing teachers' reflections, collecting statistical information, coordinating local activities. The regional coordinator recommends the person named to the Institute board. The board makes the official appointment of the cluster coordinator. How we build their capacity, supporting them to study all the Institute books, ensuring they clearly understand the program content through guidelines, institutional document, example 50 to 100, and high level functioning. The regional coordinator accompanied them in the field at least every cycle. Holding regional reflection meeting twice a year to share experience, organizing institute seminar to help them complete and read books and gain practical learning experience from advanced clusters. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Rachel. Thank you. So we have Nancy, and then Petra, and then Richard. So if we can pass the mic to Nancy.
Hello, my friends. I'm going to share about Givogi community on how tutors, animators, and teachers are working in teams and how are they being assisted to engage in a collective learning process. And also I'll be sharing how collaborators are being raised up to help coordinators accompany the friends in acts of service. I'll narrow down to Givogi community. As friends shared earlier, that in Givogi community we have 12 learning centers that enable animators and teachers to work collaboratively in delivering educational content. Working through these centers has strengthened mutual support among human resources, allowing them to prepare together before offering lessons to children and junior youth, visit parents jointly, and facilitate activities as a team. Some centers began with a single activity, but have gradually expanded as more human resources gain confidence through working alongside others. Youth supporting the activities planned together, go to the field as a group and co-facilitate content. Since children and junior youth attend activities at the same venue, when preparing to visit parents, they jointly plan the content of the visits and reflect together afterward. In cases where youth require additional support from other members of the community, teams are sent to the centers to assist with the parents' visits. Each center also has a one or more experienced friends whom others turn to for guidance, encouragement, and support. So to support the work of the centers, the village has teams of experienced friends who regularly plan and reflect on the progress of each educational imperative. One example is the team supporting the junior youth program in the village, which is composed of 5 animators. This team meets fortnightly to assess the progress of the groups and to plan ways of supporting them for more effectively. Our vision is to build the capacity of all 30 animators so that they can offer educational content with increasing effectiveness. To achieve this, the team plans to study branch courses and junior texts that some animators are not yet familiar with, organize reflection spaces for animators, and support junior camps. The team also plans to accompany animators in visiting parents and in planning service projects. In addition, it collaborates with others to offer more courses to additional animators. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. So who is next? Petra. Petra, can we have the mic next to Petra? And then after Petra, we have Richard. After Richard, we have Jeremiah. And then after Jeremiah, we have Paul Odeke.
Dear friends Alapa, so I'm going to share an experience in the context of the Northeast region in terms of how the special teams are helping to organize for formal seminars. So within this regional collaborative team, we have 4 special teams, 3 focusing on the 3 imperatives and 1 for devotional meeting. So I will focus on the main sequence special team, which has 8 members. And during the last year's duration, 4 of them were able to attend a seminar in the Central West region, that is in Givogi, for 2 weeks. Thereafter, we tried to figure out how we can introduce this aspect of seminars in our region. And based on reality, then we were able to see that we need to focus on these seminars based on each text of the main sequence. So we decided to start with the Book 1 seminar, which was just focusing on tutors of Book 1. So we identified some individuals at the regional level. Basically, we consider those who accompany others mostly on the field of service, some of the regional coordinators, institute resource persons, some key resources, and also some members from the regional team. So in total, they were 17, and we were able to carry this seminar for 8 days. We focused on these aspects. One was we studied the few thoughts for the tutor for Book 7. Then we were able to incorporate the recent messages from the Universals of Justice. Mostly we were focusing on a Risvan 2025 message as a way of reflecting how far we are. Then from that we were able now to embark on Book 1, but then we used Book 7 as a guideline on how to approach Book 1. So we focused mostly on the Unit 2 of Book 7, from Section 1 to 19, then from Sections 26 to 38. Thereafter, we were able to study some selections from the Training Institute document addressing the effectiveness of how we can enhance this further in terms of raising the tutors. And also, we were able to deal with the part that describes the reflection spaces, especially for the tutors. So afterwards, these 17 individuals helped to identify other more people at the grassroots for us to be able now to carry the same seminar, but now at the sub-regional level. So in the Northeast region, we have 3 sub-regions, and out of these, we conducted the same seminar, and 105 individuals attended. So in this, we retained the same content, but we incorporated now the 2 recent messages, that 1st December message and the 4th January message. Then after that, we were able to review the plans, how far we are, and the remaining one, and we were able also to see how they can help us come with the projections for the year 2026, 2027. So during the seminar, we were able to organize for some devotional meetings during that space, and they were able to attend. Some of them were hosting during the evening hours. And after that, yes, we saw 8 days were not enough. So as a region, we are thinking of having a longer seminar, even though it's of that of book 1. So afterwards, we were able to have planning session where these 105 individuals concentrated on some aspects like the youth gatherings. Mostly we decided that each of the second and third milestone clusters will be having at least this youth gathering per cycle. Another aspect that was considered was the reflection spaces. We decided that for the second and third milestone clusters, we'll be ensuring that we have these on cycle basis, at least on cycle basis. And then another one was how we were asking ourselves, how can we now continually accompany tutors at the grassroots? So purposely, we are thinking of having such seminars based on other texts of the main sequence, starting now with book 2, book 4. But doesn't mean that this for book 1 just ended there, but it will be organized now at the cluster or at the level of the adjoining clusters. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Kendi. So we have Richard, Jeremiah, Paul, and then we have Mateso and Charity. So please keep raising your hands. Dear Michael here is taking note of all the hands that are going up. So can the mic go to, is it Richard? Where is Richard? Richard? Richard, are you there? Okay. So we go to Jeremiah. Jeremiah, are you there? Okay. So we will skip him. We'll go to Paul. Paul, are you there? Or we skip also? Paul. Okay. So we will come back. So let us continue with Paul. So Paul, remember, it's 5 minutes. Okay.
Okay, thank you. Laupa friends, my sharings are going to focus on about 3 elements. One is the support of the collaborative group in strengthening the institute, and the other to do with the role institute board is playing. But then also a little bit on the formal seminars, the impact of some formal seminars in raising the capacity of the structures of the institute. Since the 2018, the region has continued to benefit from the deliberations of the collaborative group, an arrangement that brings together auxiliary board members, representatives of the Regional Baha'i Council, the institute board and its coordinators, and more recently, representatives of Baha'i-inspired organization. Friends with relative experience, especially from the most advanced clusters, are also invited when their insights can assist a particular line of consultation. This group meets on a cyclic basis, and before each collaborative space, the institute coordinators and teams meet with the secretary of the institute board to consolidate what has been done and learned in the cycle in light of the region's objectives and highlight the challenging areas. This preparatory conversation follows guidance received through consultation between the secretary of the board and the councillor. As a result, the collaborative group's discussions have become more focused, structured, and responsive to the realities of each cycle, reducing the broad or generalized discussions. Over time, the consultations have centered increasingly on the role of the institute in the movement of clusters. Before the beginning of the plan, we experienced many clusters that could launch a milestone, either 1, 2, 3, through a multiplication of devotional meetings, yet often would plateau or decline. This was largely because the capacity to sustain conversations and service rested with only a few friends, particularly in the pioneer clusters. Gradually, the understanding of the Institute's role has expanded. Rather than viewing it solely as a means for raising teachers and mentors and tutors, the Institute now appreciates its contribution to all the three broad areas of endeavor, as well as its vital connection to the teaching work that inspire friends to enter the faith. This broadened perspective has also shaped the participation in the collaborative space, which now includes representatives of Kimanyangeo and friends coordinating ISGP seminars, helping to bring greater coherence to the consultations. Through these reflections in the collaborative space, the Institute has recognized that the decline in enrollment was partly due to insufficient attention to certain courses, particularly books 4 and 6, which had been systematically advanced, which had not been systematically advanced for some time, and in response, seminars have been organized to help friends progress in their study. As a result, we are beginning to see a modest but encouraging rise in enrollments compared to the earlier years of the plan. Through the deliberations of the collaborative group, the Institute has become increasingly aware of the need to strengthen the development of tutors who can help stimulate both the inflow and steady progression of the friends through the sequence of courses. With this in mind, and in close collaboration with the Regional Baha'i Council, a shift has taken place in how teams of pioneers are selected. Each team now includes at least one strong tutor, alongside individuals capable of advancing the Junior Spiritual Empowerment Program and the spiritual education of children. This approach is already helping clusters move forward more swiftly and build essential capacities, as seen in places such as the Luero and Kabula-Soke clusters. Furthermore, the collaborative group space has helped the Institute board gradually learn how to follow up the children, junior youth, and youth who have previously participated in the spiritual education program but may have advanced past the eligible age, or paused their involvement due to life circumstances. Many of these young people are now demonstrating their ability to contribute meaningfully to the Institute process in their communities. Also strengthening the coordination structure, ensuring that emerging needs are met with adequate support. At present, there are 50 Institute cluster coordinators serving in the 24 of the 56 clusters, and efforts continue to expand and reinforce this. We are also organizing seminars for coordinators to deepen their understanding of the educational content, Institute courses, PSA materials, and related resources. These gatherings have significantly enhanced their capacity to navigate the growing complexity of both region and clusters. The collaborative group is thus supporting the Institute board in consolidating insights and swiftly sharing experiences across the region. Friends at the regional level, but from different clusters, listen to case studies and learn from one another, which is informing their refined and wise dissemination of what they learn, while the auxiliary board members help ensure that the emerging lessons are quickly disseminated. And so, on the role of the Institute board then, on the basis of the suggestions that are shared in the collaborative group space, and with the guidance of the institutions of the Council and the National Spiritual Assembly, make decisions and policies that will help facilitate learning and learning process around each of the three educational imperatives. Decisions that might include the appointment of coordinators, ensuring they are well-oriented, and a system that builds their capacity is established and facilitated. The Regional Institute Board ensures that the resources, both financial and human, are available to facilitate and implement the learning process. Yes? Oh, sorry. The minute's are done. Okay, sorry. This through the interactions with the institutions of the Council and the National Spiritual Assembly, but also by reinforcing and encouraging for the quality delivery of the Institute contents, So it can have an impact on the population, which results into growing ownership of the institute by the people, local institutions, and some communities. The Institute Board is also further learning to strengthen its administrative capacity to ensure that the financial resources are managed so to meet the needs that arise, building the capacity of the Friends at all levels effectively to plan and account for the resources once received. And lastly, also through its administrative assistant, capacity is being built in the coordinators' separate teams to ensure documentation of what is being learned through, of course, the case studies and some reports that have started emerging. This capacity, though modest, is benefiting the consultations of the collaborative group, keeping the board abreast of what is unfolding and informing its decisions on where greater attention is needed. Sorry, the time could not allow me to discuss on the seminars, but I will
Thank
share
you,
it.
Paul. Thank you. Thank you very much. So there was someone who was standing behind there. He had missed out. Who is that? Was it Jeremiah or Richard? Kindly say the name. I can't see properly there.
Jeremiah.
Jeremiah. Kindly, Jeremiah, go ahead.
So, hello, dear friends. So, my sharing is about teachers, tutors, animators working together. So, but briefly, I would like to start on how the institute started. So, in the beginning of the plan, Torit cluster had no institute activities until the arrival of pioneers.
Jeremiah, could you kindly remind us which cluster you are coming from, please?
Torit cluster, South Sudan.
Oh, very good. I see.
So, in the beginning of the plan, Torit cluster had no institute activities until the arrival of pioneers who began initiating children classes, study cycles, and junior youth groups. So in the period 2024, intensive trainings followed after a conversation with youth who began to participate in Book 1, Book 2, and Book 3. So we began to increase some of the educational imperatives in the cluster, of which we have human resources who have participated in institute process. So currently we have 11 teachers, we have 8 animators, and 7 tutors. And among these teachers, we have 4 who initiated children classes. We have 4 animators who initiated the junior groups. So during the period 2025, a nucleus of youth was formed, allowing them to meet regularly with the pioneers and to reflect on the process of the activities and how to support each other. So in the period 2025, the National Institute teams appointed a coordinator. However, even before this appointment and continuing today, we have been blessed to witness the strong relationship among us. We rarely meet a day without seeing each other at the pioneers' place. So in the period when the coordinator came into place, he was able to analyze the cluster and see the reality, what is needed and how he can able to help the activities in the cluster. A coordinator was able to organize the reflection spaces whereby he can able to call these animators, tutors, children class teachers together and share how best they can able to help each other. And also a coordinator accompanying these people in the field of service, analyzing, visiting the activities, trying to see what are some of the challenges and how he can able to encourage these people to continue participate in these activities. And also a coordinator trying to see how he can able to to accompany these people to participate in the numbers of Vrui Institute, such that human resources can be able to raise. As by now, Torit cluster, at this extent, we are still at this stage of raising human resources of how best we can expand these activities in the community. So basically, this nucleus of friends who comes together and meet at the same times, also they may think about how can they able to progress on their social economics and how they can raise their capacity spiritually. So this is what I can share.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Jeremiah. Is Richard back? Richard Simkonda, is he in? Richard, are you there? Oh yes, kindly if we can take the mic to Richard. And then, okay. I see it's Ricardo. Sorry, that's why we were looking for, sorry, we made a mistake here. Ricardo, sorry. And then, okay, sorry Ricardo, I confused your name. So then after Ricardo, we will take Bwana Mateso. And then after Bwana Mateso, we'll take Marion. And then after Marion, we'll take Knight. So kindly, if you can get ready.
Okay, thank you. I'm going to talk about the role of special training seminars in helping friends contributing to this institute work, especially coordinators in enhancing capacity for training and building confidence. So East Lake Training Institute, in collaboration with Learning Site for the Junior Youth Spiritual Empowerment Program, together with Lens Network, has been organizing seminars focusing on raising capacity to implement junior youth program in film ground. Up to this moment, there's been 3 seminars organized, and one of these actually has been concerning with the junior youth program. So through reflection on previous efforts, it became clear that the East Lake region was experiencing challenges related to limited understanding of the program content, learning processes and progression through the junior texts. In addition, there was a noticeable shortage of trained tutors, particularly in clusters such as Ukala, Ilangala, Butiama, Silali, Bunda, Nasio, and Mwanza, and these actually are the reservoirs of this actual region of East Lake. So in response, the region resolved to enhance the understanding of the program, especially Book 5 and junior youth texts. Among Friends South Institute, this included coordinators, close collaborations with actual learning site. Through each resource person, we also come together in discussions on how actually we can have this seminar within the region to enhance that actual confidence and capacity among these coordinators. So the seminar brought together about 55 participants from these clusters that also has been mentioned above. And actually was held from March to 25 March 2025. And during this period, participants completed the study of Book 5 together with 7 junior youth texts, which are Breezes of Commemorations, Wellspring of Joy, Habits of an Orderly Mind, Glimmerings of Hope, Walking in the Straight Path, on Health and Well-being together with the Spirit of Faith. So the objects of this seminar was like actually to strengthen the understanding of the program content among the friends serving at the regional and cluster level, especially also these animators also who are helping the junior youth program within these clusters. But also was to enhance the capacity of tutors of Book 5, the first branch course entitled Widening Cycle, and at least 7 junior texts as mentioned above also. As well, the big number of people were scared even to teach Book 5. So we initiated this program, actually Book 5 study, so that actually we can help to build this confidence and the capacity actually of these tutors to enhance this Book 5. So overall, the Training Institute viewed this seminar as a strategic effort to enhance the program in 2nd and 3rd milestone clusters by supporting a broader group of friends to develop deep understanding, confidence, and sense of ownership of the program among these individuals. So in the preparations and seminar content, actually, we come together to consult, as I said previously, with the resource person of the learning site in Dar es Salaam, Mr. Aristotle Zablon, together with the auxiliary board members. So participants included friends serving at the level of region, selected tutors of Group 5 cluster coordinators, especially from second and third milestone clusters, as well as animators, and some of the Baha'is who had completed secondary educations, and actually were in the clusters. So these youths were drawn from the sub-regions of Baghdad, Akka, and Baj, and previously participated in a junior seminar organized by the regional Baha'i Council. So one day prior to the seminar, the learning site resource person met with the facilitators team to consult on effective learning approaches. Together, they structured the seminar schedule, allocated time for the learning material, and integrated collective devotions, artistic activities, and knowledge celebrations. Participants were organized in small study groups according to their sub-regions to ensure learning and reflection remained grounded in these local realities. So the training process itself. Each day began with the collective devotions and reflections, followed by the consultations in the larger group, and then focused study in the smaller groups. Sessions ran from 8:30 to 1:30. Despite much of the seminar taking place during the fasting, participants demonstrated strong commitment, enthusiasm, and a unit of purpose. The seminar opened with an assessment of the current realities of the program within the region. This enabled participants to reflect on questions related to teaching capacity, accompaniment, and community engagement, expansion of junior youth groups, and the development of tutors of Book 5 and branch courses. These reflections helped to prepare participants to think internationally about post-seminar actions and actually how to connect these insights with actually the realities of their cluster. So that actually when they go back, they can also facilitate these actual initiatives to have that sense of ownership among themselves. So the start of Book 5 took approximately 10 days and was accompanied by the junior youth texts, as mentioned above previously, actually. So learning and next steps. The seminar significantly enhanced understanding of the junior youth program among 54 friends, including its aims, structure, learning principles, key concepts, and methods. It also deepened love for and ownership of the program, thereby strengthening the foundation for sustainable growth within the region. And up to now, actually, we see these 55 participants being actually in the front in their clusters to help this actual process to advance. And actually to the moment, we initiated some 27 junior youth groups, having 264 participants. And actually, we have actually that responsibility of helping these individuals to sustain in these actual parts of the that we try to sow together. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ricardo. Thank you. So we take Diamateso and then Marion, and then we'll come tonight.
Laupa. My sharing will focus on how Institute network seminars have assisted Training Institute to progress. The Training Institutes in Tanzania have been grouped into two networks, the SWEC and LENS. We call them SWEC and LENS. The SWEC network include Southeast, Southwest, Central, and Western. And the seminars under this group are hosted by Western Institute, while the LENS include East Lake, West Lake, Eastern, Northern, and our sister institute, Seychelles. And the seminar under this group are hosted by Eastern Institute. These seminars bring together regional coordinators, auxiliary board members, secretaries of regional bi-councils, secretaries of institute boards, administrative assistants of institute boards, resource person of the learning site, and other experienced individuals from within the institutes. These networks have established a rhythm of biannual seminars. And these seminars are of two kinds. There are those focused on the study of certain books of the main sequence, and those focused on understanding and enhancing the quality of some elements of the educational programs. Generally, the seminars have assisted the training institutes to disseminate the lessons that are being learned by the most experienced institute and be shared more widely and increasingly. Also, assist each institute reflect on its areas of learning. Understanding concepts from a specific course that had been identified as priority and strengthening consciousness about the importance of studying by various by literature. Ensuring that people from many more clusters could take part in a learning process unfolding across all regions. Also focusing on enhancing the systems for the dissemination of learning through organization of teams of each educational imperative that analyze needs and identify lessons emerging at the grassroots that can be shared swiftly across the region. The seminar also focused on raising consciousness of the need to enhance the understanding of content as the institutes explore the quality of methods of course delivery. These seminars have helped the institutes to plan their programs effectively and implement them in an orderly manner, avoiding acting in a haphazard way. Strengthening various practical elements of education programs, but also acting as forums to improve translation of institute materials so as to make them widely used and a better understanding of the content and the concepts available therein with relative ease. The seminars have assisted some institutes in the country to develop a well-structured capacity building program to their regional coordinators. So as the seminar underway, each institute is assisted to develop clear plans on how what was learned and how might be applied in their respective regions to many clusters with accordance to their realities. Thank you.
So, who is the next? So we have Marion. Where is Marion? Marion, and then we have Knight. Knight will follow Marion. And then after Knight, there is Ishmael will follow, and then Charity, and then Opio, in that order. So where is Marion? Is Marion there? Okay, please go ahead.
I'm going to focus on content delivery, and I'm drawing experience from Ngora cluster in Eastern region. And my focus will be mainly on teachers. So to effectively assist the teachers to deliver content, we have been bringing them together to do lesson preparation. And during this lesson preparation, we mainly focus on the most challenging parts of the elements of the lesson. And these parts are mostly drama, storytelling, and memorization. We have seen that this has helped the teachers to gain more confidence in explaining the elements to the children clearly, and also help them to set objectives of the lesson, like what they want the children to understand by the end of the lesson. Lesson preparation has also assisted the teachers to, lesson preparation has also assisted the teachers to prepare teaching aids like charts, manilas, to effectively deliver the elements of the lesson. Like in Ngora cluster, we have one teacher who didn't know how to sing. So she downloaded the songs from YouTube and played them on these small robots, the speakers. So this created like a joyful environment and also attracted more children to the class. Then also we realized that organizing children into age-based classes has also enabled teachers to find appropriate methods of teaching a specific age group and meeting the needs of their age. These age-based classes have also enabled the teachers to identify those children that are turning 11 to be transitioned to the Junior Youth Spiritual Empowerment Program. And also to enable the children grasp content, the teachers have been pairing like the fast learners and the slow learners. So the fast learners assist these slow learners in grasping some of the content, mostly in memorization, during memorization. So the children who have memorized faster are paired with these slow ones so that they can memorize together. Reflection spaces have also proved vital as teachers, animators, and tutors are brought together to learn from one's experience, successes, and challenges, which has improved on their teaching strategies. Then working in teams. In Ngora cluster, the teachers, animators, and tutors collaborate with one another in assisting the children and junior youth to transition to the different imperatives. For example, when a child, when a specific class has outgrown, the cluster coordinator following the spiritual education of children collaborates with the junior youth cluster coordinator following the junior youth spiritual empowerment to assist these children to systematically transition. And we also realized that collaboration between teachers, cluster coordinators, like when a cluster coordinator visits a specific village, he or she follows all the imperatives and informs the rest of what has been unfolding in that village, but not specifically following, like you are a coordinator for spiritual education, you go and focus on spiritual education, but all the imperatives. Then also in terms of accompaniment, in Ngora cluster, the newly trained teachers are accompanied to classes, like to start classes by the collaborators and the cluster coordinators to help them familiarize or gain that experience of teaching the children. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Marion. So the next is Night, if we can bring the mic next to Night. And then after Night, we have Ishmael. And then after Ishmael, we have Charity.
Hello, friends. I'll narrow my experience basing on community or expanding number of individuals, especially youth, have raised through the process of the plan. So working with the network of youth, that's Moranga unit under Northeast region. We have been working with network of youth from different clusters across the Moranga unit to engage more youth in meaningful conversations about the vision of the 9-year plan in relevant message 2024. That says all can search, but the youth must sow. One of the notable example has been working with the Form 4 leavers, that's to increase human resources and to also to raise their capacities. And the initiatives has assisted us to witness this vision in Moranga unit, whereby a great number of youth were enrolled in training institute process, which led to their transformation. Now that initially most of them were affected by negative forces within the society. Majority were using drugs. And through the institute process, now they have transformed and they're also assisting in the field of service. And then I'll also talk about the youth gatherings. Youth gathering has been one of the initiatives that has contributed in raising resources across the unit. During the gatherings, we study youth in advancing civilization, basing on major parts of the material, that's youth and community, to assist them understand their role in their respectful community. We also base on mutual support and assistance, that's to switch from I to we. Meaning, like, they don't also just think about themselves, but they also think about their friends, and that has also contributed to the increasing of human resources. Also, messages has played a very vital role in the increment of number of human resources across the unit. The gathering has also fostered the development of virtues such as truthfulness and love and perseverance, alongside practical skills of community building process among the youth. During discussion, we often revolve around the 9-year plan and how youth can play a crucial role in community building efforts as stated in the message 2018 relevant message. During the space, we watch films that accompany the books to explore more about the programs at large, such as Frontiers of Learning, Expansive Prospect, and Widening Embrace during the training, which has contributed to the flow of more youth in the path of service. I also talk about institute awareness. It is through this that youth came to understand more about the Training Institute as a vital evolving educational institutional design to develop human resources for the spiritual and social transformation, especially pioneering clusters. As a result, we had new enrollment in large numbers, increment of human resources and activities across the unit. Most of them have risen to serve as animators, teachers, tutors, pioneers, cluster coordinators, and devotional hostess across the unit. Majority have also embraced the revelation of Baha'u'llah. We have also witnessed 4 clusters around the unit which have moved to second milestone within a short period of time, especially Makongeni cluster. We had 20 youth, and out of 20 youth, we had 11 declarants. Makuyu cluster, we had 20 youths also, and out of 20, we had 10 declarants. And Kakuzi cluster, we had 10 youth, and out of 10, we had 5 declarants. While 2 of the clusters, that's Makongeni and Makuyu, will be moving to third milestone by Ritvan 2026. So out of the total number of the new declarants, 1 is serving as a pioneer in one of the cluster in Moranga, that's Kahuro cluster. 3 are serving as coordinators. 10 are serving as animators. 7 youths are also serving in ATC.
as ATC members, while one is serving as at the capacity of the LSA member. Most of the programs are now being spearheaded by the youth in those respectful areas. And this was as a result of them equipping themselves through the training institutes where they arise to serve their communities ceaselessly. So reflection spaces has also been an initiative whereby systematization of pioneers and coordinators. Weekly meeting has proven effective in stimulating growth process in Murang'a unit. A notable point has been previously the meeting could take place on a monthly basis, but as deliberations arose from friends, the need of the weekly meeting was realized, and this was in consultation with collaborative teams in which the team is facilitating this meeting on a weekly basis with the help of the regional coordinators across the region. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Knight. So friends, for those who are coming, see how you can be generous because there is quite a number of you on the list and we have got little time. So Ishmael follows, after Ishmael Charity, after Charity there is Opio, and then after Opio there is Enoch Nyongesa, and then there is Fidelis Francis. Hopefully you can be generous enough so that we can have all of them sharing. Where is Ishmael? And Ishmael, keep looking this side so that just in case your time is gone, you will be signaled.
Thank you. My name is Ishmael, as you have heard, from Central West. I wanted to deliberate on the aspect of raising human resources, especially all the way from, specifically I'll dwell on the unit program. Now, how we are raising animators all the way to collaborators and also that capacity for coordination. And if you look very well in our Central West, and I will narrow down to Tiriki West, raising of human resources is something that is happening organically through experience, accompaniment, and service. And these arise from believers who previously have interacted with the faith on the path of service through different activities like study circle, children classes, or junior youth, as participants or as the participants or as the human resources undertaking these activities. So I'll just take you through the process of identification to just looking through the process systematically. For example, in Tiriki West, which is acting as a reservoir to 7 other adjoining clusters, in Tiriki West, then the process of identification of animators, then we look at different elements in the path of service. For example, we look at the reliability of these potential animators so as to train as animators. We look at their humility and other elements like learning in action. And then during the training of animators, there are aspects that we look at so that we can help have that quality training. For example, we'll start with the quality of the tutors themselves who deliver the content of Book 5 materials. During the training, we assess every participant in terms of the way they articulate ideas in the Book 5 materials and how they undertake exercise-related questions in the materials. Sometimes, for us to enhance the content delivery or content retention ability, we also engage the participants in the aspect of, for example, they can dramatize what they have studied in the Book 5. For example, the aspect of service or the twofold moral purpose, they dramatize act as, some of them will dramatize as participants in the unit groups, and the other take the part of the animator, where this one helps to enhance content retention ability. But during afternoons, mostly in weekends, during weekends, then our studies are structured in a way that friends also interact with they go to the fields to translate what they have studied practically. Maybe just to add this, and then for the last 1 year, then we've been able to train at least around 70 animators for the last 1 year. This one now is the 2 sub-regions, Vihiga and Nandi. But then we see the aspect of accompaniment is another element that's helping us raise these human resources, whereby they work alongside experienced individuals like coordinators, the ABMs, and receiving the support of the other institutions and the local assembly members, where also reflection spaces becomes another element that nurtures the capacity in these animators, where they come to review sections in Book 5, read the messages from the Universals of Justice, and also reflect on their progress as well as setbacks. And then from this pool of animators is where maybe after around 1 year of handling a juniors groups is where we get the collaborators. We pick collaborators from a pool of animators who are experienced, and then I think the same path follows because of time. The same path follows up to the aspect of coordinators or coordination structures, because then from among these pool of collaborators, still we get a good number of coordinators. Thank you.
Thank you, Eshma. Thank you. So Charity, where is Charity? Charity, and then after Charity there is Opio, and then Enoch and Fidelis.
So hello, dear friends. This is Charity from Northwest Region. I'll be sharing about the formal institute seminars alongside or overall in the region as an advanced institute. So for Northwest Region, we have been having institute seminars and for the last month of every cycle. That's on March, June, and September. And for March, we had an institute seminar of the main sequence. And we engaged over 60 friends that were engaged fully. And the theme of the seminar then was to reflect on the role of the institute in the movement of population and the role of tutors on content delivery. Then the content that was used during the seminar was the reviewed Book 7, which helps the participants to go through or to review from the text of RUI 1 up to RUI 6, as well as RUI 7, building capacity on those participants, at least during the tutoring service, and then they can offer the content well. And as we talk, over 40 friends alongside the region now are being accompanied to carry out the practical component, which is acting as tutors of these RUI Institute materials. And then during June, that's the last month of the cycle, we had a junior seminar. And the theme was to help the animators progress along the junior text, and the role of animator in assisting junior youth alongside the text. And then we also have more than 60 participants who are engaged fully. And the friends, through the study of branch courses of Book 5, that is the initial impulse and widening circle, they were able to go through or to study alongside junior youth texts from at least text 1 up to 12. And as we talk in the cluster level and the communities, we have clusters like Makutano, Kimilili, Kakuma Camp, Ndivisi have at least helped junior youths to study from text 1 to text 14. And during September, we had a child seminar, which collaborated friends from South Sudan, Southeast, Central, and as well as Northwest itself. And our friends were being helped to study the branch courses materials of grade 1. And almost 70 friends were engaged fully. And during the study, then we see that the facilitating team were really having reflections, and they were reflecting on how the space was and how they can offer that content of the child team or the branch courses of child materials. And in our seminar, we usually have an approximate of 20 days so that we can have we can reflect well, share experiences from other friends. And as we speak in different centers of activity in different clusters, we have children branch courses class. So friends learned not only how to initiate children classes, but also how to sustain the branch courses classes from branch course 1 up to branch course 8. So at least now in our region, as well as the Southeast, Central, and South Sudanese, we have teachers of branch courses, and we are seeing on how to study more. And as well as we are having another institute seminar beginning early next month, and we are planning on training or studying the higher courses. We'll be having book 7, book 8, book 9, book 13, and 14. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So Opio, Enoch, and Fidelis. And dear friends, if you could take 3 minutes, we'll very much appreciate, because we don't have time. 3 minutes, kindly, Opio.
Thank you for limiting me time. And of course, we bear with the time. Mike Opi again, and I'm going to present aspect of working with separate teams in supporting the work of the institute and coordinators. But then in this particular scenario in the eastern region of Uganda, we know that when this aspect of working with separate teams came, it was a little tricky, and we started with one team, that is the one following the spiritual education of children. But then 2024, we decided to bring in the other two, that is the Junior Youth Empowerment Program and the one following the main sequence of courses. So in this particular aspect, 3 teams therefore operate in the region, and each of the teams is following a specific line of action. So these teams consist of 4 members each and a convener that oversees as a secretary of the teams. Specifically, I'm going to discuss about the spiritual education of children. So in this, we see that all the 4 members here are really professional teachers, deliberately identified so as to focus on specific elements that are in line with professional teaching, that is lesson preparation and tutorial approaches. And this is hoped to be integrated in the program so as to assist after class lessons. So the members of the team work together in consultation, though each of them follow a specific area of focus. For example, we have a member that focuses on looking at the activities of working with schools. Then the other one focuses on documentation of experiences and learning. And then the other one focuses on the Kalengo, which is the intense village of learning. The convener, therefore, oversees the activities in other
areas, especially those that do not have coordinators, but also linking up with the pioneering clusters. So we're also working with 5 regional coordinators, following 5 sub-regions in the region. The team meets once every quarter to reflect together, study guidance, share and analyze quarterly plans, and also forge ways of assisting regional coordinators to disseminate new learnings generated from the center of learning, that is Kalengo, to different other villages and clusters. The team also meets once a cycle with regional coordinators to reflect and share cluster plans, but also meet monthly online to explore insights of what has transpired within the months. The team assists the coordinators in identifying relevant factors and elements that contribute to the effectiveness of the program. Therefore, in this, we focus on various elements, including the following. Effective content delivery, lesson preparation, working in small settings, use of notebooks, accompaniment of teachers, collaborators, and coordinators, progression of teachers through the sequence of courses, but also raising book 3 tutors. But also we follow with festivals and graduations. To be specific, when it comes to, for example, raising a number of teachers, a pool of teachers, but also increasing the classes in the region, the team also collaborates with other teams, including the Junior Youth Empowerment Program and Main Sequence, but also other agencies, to ensure that large number of new entries are brought into Book 1, of which a number of teachers are identified and trained, and they are helped to form classes before they complete the book.
Dear SOPO, are you able to wind up, please?
So since the time is with us, allow me therefore to give more one paragraph to ensure the quality of the program in the region. The team also follows up with the progression. The team follows up with the progression and ensure that all children that enter grade 1 progressively move to the branch courses and grades. So therefore, we do this by following up with our collaborators, identifying all those classes that are near to finish grade 1, and they are brought into training to be prepared for branch courses. But lastly, we also have areas that we are learning with, and this include the following. Working with young mothers. We also want to, thank you, Alaba.
Thank you, Opio, but I'll report you to Auntie Nancy. So we'll take only one last one, and that is Enoch. Sorry, Fidelis. Yes. You have 3 minutes, Enoch.
Thank you so much. Alapa friends. Yeah, I would like to share something on the first question and also few on the second. And I may start by saying that since the inception of the training institute in Matunda Soy, we have efforts to ensure sufficient human resources are raised, because we understand that the institute has is a potent means for society building power of the faith to find release. We have learned to raise tutors for different texts and grades for the main sequence, and we are tapping on receptivity of youth through conversation and vaulting in different settings, then assisting them to study institute courses either in study circle or institute campaigns. So throughout the cycles, we have been conducting study circle to assist these individuals. We have managed to raise 66 animators, 42 tutors, and 96 teachers. And in doing so, we have identified the objects of learning that we are following up. Raising the number of effective tutors is one, striking a balance between study circle and institute campaign, also strengthening the system of accompaniment and working with specific populations. Another one that I will expand on it is operation of the institute at the level of the village. So in doing so, is that we have managed to raise these teams of tutors, animators, and teachers at the level of the village. And as a result of coordinators working closely with collaborators who are assigned a number of the human resources, these teams schedules a meeting for their reflection, where experience is shared and new insight documented at the field work, at the new steps planned. So in doing so, also this is helping us in raising up the collaborators who helps coordinators to accompany friends on the act of service. As education activities multiply and more human resources increases, the needs of expanding the scheme of coordination arises. So collaborators are raised from among experienced teachers, tutors, and animators, and are assisted in raising capacity beyond their activities. For example, accompanying few groups or classes, a team of tutors in conversing and initiating new activities, organizing special spaces like camps, festivals at the level of the village, and having formal and informal reflection spaces. So spaces are organized for these friends to study guidance and reflect. Sometimes they are first cohort to be invited for institute seminars where they are assisted to raise various capacities in their line of action, e.g. content delivery, engaging in meaningful conversation, analyzing statistics, and usage of notebooks. So these friends are assigned duties as per their friends. And the institute process in Matunda is being adopted as a strategy in opening of more villages. Thank you.
Thank you so much for all the contributions. They were all very rich. And we still had many names on the list that we couldn't cover. I'm sure in the next session, you'll continue raising your hands and perhaps you might be able to talk. Before we conclude, I would like to invite Mr. Serrano, who is going to share a few comments before we go for break.
Aloha, friends. So thank you again for all of the wonderful sharing. And we thought just before we go to break, a couple of comments, actually mainly to build on what dear Townsend was sharing in the opening. You may remember that he said that when we think of the Training Institute, we can look at it kind of from two perspectives. So from one perspective, when we look at the Training Institute, we can see it as a process that's unfolding in the life of a community. And this process ultimately belongs to the community itself, to the people, and receives its greatest impetus down there at the grassroots as the families, teachers, animators themselves take ownership of this institute process and begin to strengthen it, to ensure that all the children are participating, the junior youth. They figure out ways to, as their vision is expanded, they figure out ways, and they understand the importance of this educational process. They figure out ways to formalize it. How are we going to have grades? These classes should be held somewhere. Right now they're under the mango tree, but maybe let's talk to the chief. Let's use the school. Can we maybe build some classrooms? So all of that happens at the level of the community. So that's one perspective, this process that is unfolding in the life of a community. And that particular perspective of the Training Institute is actually what we discussed, was it yesterday, I think, when we looked at paragraphs 6 in particular, but also 7 a little bit, but especially paragraph 6 is what is happening in the life of the community. And if you look at that paragraph and a lot of what we discussed, there isn't much mention of the coordinator there. So it's just what the community itself can do, what groups of families can do, what teachers, animators, collaborators are accompanying, and so forth. Of course, the coordinator is always present, but that process is largely in the life of the community. So that's one perspective, is thinking of the process. Because at the end of the day, if you think about it, a children's class, a junior youth group, the actual education is happening in the community. So if you think of our level, the regional level, there isn't a regional children's class. No, that's a different thing. So the actual educational process is what happens in the life of the community. So that's one perspective that Townsend mentioned. But then we can also think of the Training Institute and look at it from the perspective of the structure that is emerging. If you think about village after village, the community is learning how to put in place this educational process. Is learning how to formalize it, how to offer education from childhood to adulthood. We heard just even in the last few sharing how we're learning how within a community, tutors can offer from books 1 to 14. We can offer all of the grades, as 10 texts, as many as 15 texts. So all of that is happening village after village. But then as that's happening, the community takes care of more and more within the village. But then if you start to move and say, well, how are we going to go to the next village? What additional support might be needed by the community? Then you start to now visualize actually a structure that is emerging. So these are kind of the two complementary ways that we can think of the Training Institute and look at it. And in the 28th November 2023 message, you remember this beautiful message from the House of Justice about the first century of the formative age. The House of Justice also has a section in the message called Prospect. So it's helping us see where we're coming from the last 100 years, but where we're going, especially in light of the aim of this series of plans. So one of the things the House of Justice says in this message, they say, the Training Institute will be further strengthened and will continue to evolve as an educational organization that develops capabilities for service. So you see, the House of Justice is helping us see that as communities take ownership of this process and it becomes formalized, but then the ability of a structure to emerge, to be able to take to village after village, to think of the quality, to be able to then put in place schemes of coordination, to coordinate. Coordination is still necessary. That will require basically this structure to evolve from maybe a few coordinators. As the friends in South Sudan, they're learning how to create this process in the level of a community, and little by little begin to, they were sharing with us, to raise a few coordinators. That's the beginnings of eventually what will become, I'm sure. I don't know by the end of the 9-year plan, but in this series of plans, they will have an educational organization to tend to the education of more and more people in South Sudan. So this educational organization is something that is also emerging. So these two perspectives, I think, are very helpful. And today what we talked about is a little bit that structure. How is it emerging? But then one of the very interesting questions is how this process that occurs in the life of a community and is largely owned by the community, is tended to by the community. It has a number of informal arrangements, groups of families, collaborators, teams. How does that process come together with this structure? How do the two things meet? How do they meet seamlessly? How then also does this educational organization follow what is being learned? So it fully acknowledges that this process belongs to the community, but is ready to provide whatever support is needed. It is in the spirit of the Institute, a group of friends walking together. A coordinator comes and is friends with these collaborators, with the community. They're learning together. They're listening to the questions that the community has. It then takes these questions and then helps this educational organization consider these questions, for instance, through the meetings of the collaborative group. These teams at the regional level are thinking about how can the programs be offered with more and more quality. How, when we open a new village, can the children's class the first children's class in this village be even better than the children's classes we've done, the first children's class we did in our most advanced village 10 years ago, because now we've learned so much more. So I think this combination of these two perspectives is something that's very, very helpful to think about. And it was just to highlight what Townsend had shared at the beginning, but how what we talked about yesterday was largely that process in the life of a community. And today we're seeing how is this structure emerging and how do these two things come together. So I think, I don't know, that was, yeah.
Thank you so much, friends. I think we can break for our tea. Thank you. We can now break for our tea. I think it's tea break.